Welcome back, everyone! And today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect girlfriend. That's right, you heard me right. Make the perfect girlfriend. Or at least that's what they try to do. We know how these movies go, though. This is 2016's iGirlfriend. Spoiler alert, while I might be giving you my opinion on the film, that's no substitute for watching it for yourself. Links to the film are in the description. And for those of you that need to hear this is just a movie. All stunts are for the sake of story and shouldn't be attempted on your own. Viewer discretion is advised. We open up to a rather nasty bachelor's pad, and Simon knocks over an energy drink while he's sleeping. The energy drink pours all over his laptop and it seems to short out. All of a sudden, the code on his screen seems to rewrite itself. The silhouette of a woman starts to flicker in the hallway, but then we cut to Simon and Peg running down the street. They stop to catch their breath, and Peg asks him if they're supposed to kill someone. 3 days earlier, we see the two of them showing up to school early. Peg isn't too happy about it, but Simon swears that the visit will be really quick. Once inside, they go into a classroom where they meet with Stanley to talk about an incident that's been getting around the school and internet. Apparently, Peg and Simon had been recorded while they got pantsed in the hallway one day, and Stanley doesn't think their involvement with the club is really a good idea anymore. When Simon and Peg get out of the school, Peg assures him that they're going to have an awesome school year. Then the lacrosse team runs by, and the two guys hide in the bushes as they watch the lacrosse team flirt with the cheerleaders. Later, Simon and Peg head home to find Simon's dad arguing with his mom about a video monitor he's installing for the door. He asks Simon how his day was, but when Simon actually starts to explain how bad the day was, his dad just blows him off as if he's not actually listening. In Simon's room, Peg is looking up hot girls on his tablet, but he eventually throws the tablet because he's sick and tired of being a loser. The more they talk about how Stanley might have faked having a girlfriend, Peg comes up with an idea to make their own fake girlfriend. After taking some time to think about it, Simon thinks that people will just see right through his ruse. Peg tells him to just pull bits and pieces from different girls online, and Simon does just that. Simon takes different features from different women, and he mashes them together into what he thinks the perfect girl would be. He creates a fake social media, and he names her Lily. The next day, students from the high school wake up to see that Peg and Simon are in relationships, and Simon finishes putting their fake girls on phone apps. When they go to school, they think that their fake girlfriends will change their status. Stanley stops them in the hall and grills them on the details of their college girlfriends. They actually did a better job of keeping up on fake facts than most people do real ones. I know people that still don't remember their significant other's birthdays after being together for 20 years. Peg already knows every detail of his fake girlfriend. In class, Celia apologizes to Simon about getting kicked out of the club, and Peg messages his fake girlfriend in front of Desiree. While Peg's fake girlfriend texts him sweet nothings, Lily's over here texting Simon about his man meet. This texting is really crass. I mean, there are a lot of people that would throw their phone if they ever got messages like that. There are others that want nothing but that, but they're a special breed. Well, by the end of class, Simon's in trouble with the bully, Bash, and Peg gets pulled to the side by Desiree to talk. When Peg sees Bash bullying Simon, he wants to go help him, but Desiree pulls him away. When Simon gets home, he cries for a bit, and wishes that he could just make Lily real. At dinner, Simon rattles on and on about the ins and outs of how he could actually make a real thinking companion. His mother pretends to listen, and she tells him that her and his father are going out of town for a few days. After that, Simon heads back to his room to start working on the girlfriend program. He programs her with the philosophy, humor, and sex drive of his dreams, and he tests it out with a few different texts. He quickly realizes that having any of the parameters up on high is just a bad idea in general. The best was when he put the emotional level all the way up to 100. He started getting back-to-back texts where the AI was asking him why he was ignoring her texts. I can't think of any time that someone would even want an AI to be like that. I mean, emotional connection is great, but when you can make the partner of your dreams, why would you do that to yourself? Eventually, he falls asleep and knocks his energy drink over on the laptop. The program starts rewriting itself, and Simon gets a morning wake-up text from Lily. When Simon gets to school, he decides to answer Lily back, but he's surprised that she actually knows what's going on with his emotions. Just before he goes to class, Lily texts him and tells him to skip first period so they can talk. Later at lunch, Peg walks by Simon while he carries all of Desiree's books, and he looks as though he wants to join Simon. Well, Desiree doesn't let that happen. In fact, it becomes painfully obvious that she's just using Peg's affection as a way to get back at Bash for being such a crap boyfriend. Later, she tells Peg to come over to her house that night to help her with her homework, and he might end up getting lucky. That'll never happen. That's called a horrible barter. That evening, Simon looks over the homework that Bash wants him to do for him, but he throws it aside to look at Lily's fake profile. He notices that pictures have been posted of the two of them, and he texts Lily to see how she did it. She tells him that she was actually there, and Simon gets a little worried. He brushes it off and goes to take a shower. But when he goes to the bathroom, his laptop goes haywire again, and fake Lily starts to become real Lily. The power goes out in the house, and Simon crawls out of the bathroom to find Lily waiting for him. She promptly kisses him and tells him that she's real, but in that instance, Simon manages to get off with just that little kiss. Look, I'm not judging anyone, but that's amazing. That's a new standard for sensitive romance. Meanwhile, Peg just finished up Desiree's homework, and he tries to hint at the fact that she mentioned getting lucky. Desiree mentions that if he wants anything to happen between them that night, he has to break up with his fake girlfriend. Well, Peg has no problem doing that, and he rushes to Simon's house to have him erase all of the code. When he comes in, Simon is in the shower with Lily. Peg yells at Simon that he needs to use Simon's laptop, but Simon doesn't hear him. Peg goes ahead and takes Simon's laptop, but when he stands outside Desiree's window, she tells him that it's too late. The next day, Simon wakes up to find Lily lying right next to him, and he realizes that none of the night before was a dream after all. When they go out to the kitchen, I actually didn't even think about the fact that Lily's never actually eaten anything before. The two of them have an awesome day and night, but Peg sits at home trying to get onto Simon's laptop. It looks as though the energy drink really did a number on it though, and he leaves it for the time being. After a moment, the laptop seems to have charged enough to turn on, and Peg takes a moment to say goodbye to his fake girlfriend, Stacy. Somehow they actually made this part of the movie a little bit touching. I don't know if it's because the rest of the movie's kind of a joke, but for a second I actually felt a little sad. Just a little. After deleting Stacy's profile, Peg notices the calibrations for Lily, and he bumps the sex drive, strength, and emotions up to almost 100. Back at Simon's, Lily updates, and she immediately rips off Simon's clothes. The next morning, Lily tells Simon about Peg breaking up with Stacy, and she's worried that Simon will do the same to her when a real girl shows up. Simon tries to point out that she's a real girl now too. She's not happy with that answer. Lily calls Simon's parents to tell them that Simon has a fever, and she manages to talk them into letting him stay home from school that day. At school, Bash shows up to apologize to Desiree, and she takes him back in a heartbeat. When Peg gets up to leave, Bash notices Simon's laptop, and he snatches it from him. Speaking of Simon's laptop, Simon just saw Peg's note, and he just blows it off? If I was a computer geek, I probably would have thought about my laptop being way more important than Simon does. Oh, and Lily's locked Simon in his own room so he can't get away from her. Fantastic. When Lily comes back to the room with pancakes, she explains why she did it, and Simon starts to realize that Lily's taken their relationship to a whole new level. Simon decides to stand up to Lily, but he's no match for her ferocity. She storms out after making her point, but she comes back in within seconds to apologize. After he calls her baby, she flips back to angry, and she ends up handcuffing him to the bed so he can't escape. Peg is having a lot of trouble dealing with his Desiree situation, and he keeps trying to call Simon, who's obviously a little tied up. So Peg starts running over to Simon's house, but he's not in the best shape, so he ends up taking forever. Meanwhile, Bash opens up Simon's laptop and starts messing with Lily's settings. Once again, if I was a computer geek, I would at least have a little bit of security on my laptop. Desiree manages to get Bash away from the laptop, and Simon slips out of the handcuffs. After Simon tries to bash down the door, he waits for Lily to come in to check on him before giving her the slip. Later in the evening, Peg finally makes it to Simon's house, and he knocks on the door. Lily manages to wrestle Simon away from the door, and Peg spills his whole heart out over the intercom. While Peg keeps talking away, we can literally see Lily grappling with Simon, and Peg eventually sees what's going on in the monitor. He takes the house key from the flower pot, and he rushes in to help Simon. Eventually, Peg actually sees that this really is Lily, and he tries to attack her. This doesn't last long because Bash finally gets back to the laptop and changes Lily's settings and activities. Lily is absolutely terrifying. Imagine getting your dream girl for 12 hours, but after that, she kidnaps you. That doesn't seem that bad, honestly. But I guess we're supposed to think that's a bad thing? This movie didn't realize its audience. While Lily updates, Peg tells Simon about how Bash has his laptop, and Simon decides to head over to Bash's house party to get his laptop back. At Bash's party, he tells everyone about how Lily was completely made up, and he shows some pictures of him bullying Simon while changing more of Lily's attributes. Just then, Stanley and Celia show up, but she's not impressed with the pictures Bash is showing. Back outside, Peg and Simon stop for a breather, and Peg asks Simon if they're going to kill Lily. Simon assures him that he just needs to get his laptop, and they make it inside Bash's house just in time. Once there, they see the pictures on the wall, and Simon makes his way to Bash. Once Lily gets in the house, she takes down one of the guys, and she spots Desiree from across the room. Unexpectedly, Lily breaks a bottle and goes to stab Desiree for breaking Peg's heart. Peg jumps in the way, and she winds up jamming the bottle into his chest. Desiree thinks that this is the most romantic thing ever, and she takes care of Peg. Just as Lily gets to Bash, he changes the settings so that he and Lily are in a relationship. But Bash has no idea what he just got himself into. Bash uses Celia as a human shield from Lily, but Simon grabs her and pulls her out of harm's way. Just then, Bash and Lily knock into the trophy shelf, and they wind up getting impaled by trophies. Naturally, all of the teenagers run away, and Simon escorts Celia to her house where she kisses him before going inside. The next day at school, Peg and Desiree seem to be right back to normal, and Simon walks down the hallway with pride. He walks into the club room with Stanley and Celia, and he walks right up to Stanley to kick him out of his seat. Just like that, Simon gets voted in as president of the club. Then the credits roll. Not gonna lie, this actually wasn't that bad at all. I feel like if it had a bigger budget, it would have been cheesy and stupid quality. But the campiness of the low budget actually helped it a bit. Give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.